Hey, everybody. I'll wait till some of you guys come in. Come into the chat. I'm going to have a great discussion today. Um, I'm sure you guys read the title. And anybody interested in becoming a contractor, I got some information for you guys to at least give you a heads up on, the process or some of the requirements, at least, to become a GC or general contractor. Now, the term contractor is in itself kind of general, right? It's kind of general, but most of the time we associate that word with the building industries, the construction industry, and so forth. So we're going to kind of stick in that lane, even though they have all kinds of contractors. You have contractors in the IT field, you have contractors in many different fields, right? So that word is, like I said, in itself can encompass um, things outside of the construction industry, outside of um, the building industries, but we're going to stick to that because that's what this channel is all about. Calibrate tools and DIY. This is the channel, okay, where we talk about trades, tools, and DIY and everything in between. And I'm all about adding value to you guys when it comes to that. Okay. So, what is a contractor? When it comes to the construction industry? A contractor it can be a person or it can be a business that that's hired, a person or business who's hired to complete a certain job, right? Complete a certain work. Most of the time, it's has to do with building or constructing properties or whatever is related to that. And of course, that that's the general contractor. But underneath the general contractor, you have subcontractors, right? You have subcontractors that also do the work. As a matter of fact, the general contractor is responsible for supervising everybody underneath, supervising the whole site, the whole construction site, whether it's residential or commercial. And sometimes, it can involve, well, actually, not sometimes, it involves a lot more than um, just the hands on work. General contractors, they're responsible for, um, bids. They're responsible for bidding on the job. They're responsible for injuries that can happen on the site. They're responsible for what else are they responsible for? They're responsible for having the right insurance. Okay, having the right insurance um, in case those things happen. Right, liability insurance, commercial insurance, all that stuff. So it's not just about coming in there, tearing something down, building it back up. You have to be responsible as a general contractor for a lot more things like I said, insurance, all that stuff. Happy Tuesday. Hey, Cha Cha girl, how you doing today? Good to see you. Uh, good to see you. Good to see you. We're talking about contractors, Cha Cha girl. By the way, I'm gonna put something in the link for you guys, okay? Because I would like to, and I'm gonna probably mention this throughout the live as people come in. I'll probably mention it more than once, okay? I would like to keep a relationship with you guys outside of YouTube, all right? So I'm gonna be putting out a newsletter, a monthly newsletter, and I would love for you guys to join. Okay, just type in the information. I'm gonna put the link in the chat right now. Let me see if I can do that. By the way, Cha Cha girl, um, as far as call in and all that stuff, I still haven't up. I haven't up leveled my StreamYard skills yet. Okay, but hey, Perry Girl Life knows how you doing. How you doing? Good to see you. That's my two ride or dies right there. Okay. Yeah. So today we're talking about what a contractor. What does it mean to be a contractor? What does it involve? What are the requirements? Um, okay. So you have to be at least 18 years old. Okay, I'm gonna get around down to the nitty gritty. You got to be at least 18 years old and have at least a high school diploma. Okay. Now, if you have more education than high school, that can help. All right, but it's not a requirement, but it can help when it comes to like improving your project management skills because that's basically what you're doing as a general contractor. You're managing, supervising the whole site, the whole project. Okay, so if you have good project management skills, that's definitely a plus. And if you went to school for that, you got the education for that, that's also great. Civil engineering, like if you got 4 years of school, because actually a lot of states, by the way, and I'm going to go down a list of states and what the requirements are to be a contractor in certain states, and you'll be surprised. Some of the requirements are much more stringent than other states, right? In certain states, and that's 4 years of school sometimes it requires, right? In a in certain states, I think civil engineering, construction science, uh, building sciences, construction management are some of the fields, like if you want to be a contractor, that you should probably steer yourself towards in terms of education, furthering your education after high school. Okay. So yeah, it's not just somebody coming off the street and saying, okay, I'm going to build your house. If you get somebody off the street to build your house, you don't know what you're getting. Right. And that's the whole process of getting licensed. Right. If you're in a profession that requires certifications and licenses in order for you to perform, or deal with people out there and actually do business transactions, there's a reason that you got to have a license. Just you got to have a license to drive, you got to have a license to practice whatever you're doing. So when it comes to contracting, it's the same thing, because a lot of people, they get gypped. Uh, the contractor runs off with the money or whatever, and you know if they're licensed, their license can be pulled. If they're a licensed contractor and they're doing stuff like that, their license can be revoked, or whatever kind of disciplinary action that needs to take place in those cases. Okay, so but I don't want to be devil's advocate, but sometimes I gotta be, right? Because some states don't necessarily require a contractor's license. Okay, and some states do. Some states have a whole bunch of requirements, as you will see later on when I go down the list of the requirements of certain states when it comes to contracting. And I asked myself, why do certain states not require so much and others do? And of course, the dollar sign, that's the first thing that popped in my head. Sometimes all these certifications and licenses are a way for these states to pay their own bills. So they got to get money too, right? So they got to make sure you're licensed and everything. So they come up with all these requirements and this and that and the other. And but so it's a two-edged sword. It's a two-edged sword when it comes to that. But you definitely want to deal with a licensed contractor when you're out there, or you have projects that need to be done, whether it's commercial or residential. Okay. Yeah, I know I rambled on a bit, guys, but this is a pretty interesting topic here. I got my notes ready, about to add some value here. So just listen on in, and maybe we could take some nuggets. I don't know if Cha Cha Girl and Perry Girl Life Knows wants to be a contractor or anything like that, but hey, if any contractors out there, come on in, and you learn a lot. Okay. So let's see here. Let's go down a list of some of the responsibilities of a contractor. Okay, because it's like I said, it's not just about nailing or hammering two pieces of plywood together or mixing cement and calling yourself a contractor. No, no, no. It's a lot more than that. Okay, let's see here. They're responsible for designing and planning the whole construction project. They're responsible for supervising a crew and implementing the plans. They also responsible for communicating with the stakeholders, right? Who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders are, say, the property owner or investors, you know. So they're almost like brokers in a sense, if you think about it, right? If the stakeholder comes by or the investor comes by and the job's not going right, he's not going to pick on the carpenter hammering the nail. He's not going to pick on the plumber or the electrician or the person pouring the footings. He's going to come looking for the general contractor, right? He's going to come looking for you as a general contractor, and you have to know exactly what's going on your site, okay? Because if they see something wrong, they can pull the plug anytime, and you'll be out of a project, out of a job, and there you go, right? So you always have to, as a contractor, stay in in good graces with your with the stakeholders. Okay, that's what that means. Okay. Contractors are also responsible for negotiating agreements, right? Whether that's between the subcontractors that are under them or whoever they're dealing with, and they're, just like their name implies, they're also responsible for negotiating contracts. Okay. So like I said, as a contractor, you have various responsibilities that you have to uphold, and if you don't, then guess what? Somebody else is going to get the job, and that's when the bidding process comes in right there. Okay, we're going to talk about how the bidding process when it comes to getting a job and what that involves as well. Okay, and the difference between bidding, the difference between a bid and an estimate. Okay, I'll let you guys think about that. There is a difference, by the way. All right. All right. What else is a general contractor responsible for? They're responsible for hiring the subcontractors, right? Subcontractors can be electricians, it can be the tile guy, it can be the plumber, right? It can be the cement guys, everybody underneath. That's why he's called a general contractor, because everybody's has specific skill and niche that they bring to the job site to complete the job. And as a contractor, his job as a general contractor, the job is to supervise all of them. Very good life notes. Clientele is primarily real estate owners. In my corporate days, I was a construction accountant and have managed the cost budget of many projects. Hey, Perigirl Life Notes, you hit the nail on the head. Oh yeah, I was supposed to send that link, that opt-in link, guys. There it is, right there. Yeah, Perigirl Life Notes, absolutely. The contractor, and when I say contractor, I'm not talking about subcontractor. I'm talking about general contractor. They're responsible for the budget as well. They're responsible for pricing out materials, responsible for pricing out labor, all that. I mean, it can be, they can draw down, they can, like, if a contractor can say, okay, look at it, something, say it's going to cost about maybe roughly this much. But when it comes to submitting that final bid, it's not going to be a rough number. It's going to be the exact cost of the materials, right? They have to factor in materials, labor, all that stuff that, and not only that, profit, right? And that's the difference between a bid and an estimate. An estimate is they look at everything and say, okay, this is what's going to cost me as a contractor. This is materials and labor. That's the cost of materials and labor is an estimate. Okay. And a bid is the cost of materials and labor plus profit. So when they make their final proposal to the customer, okay, it's going to include that. It's going to include the profit and everything. So the goal, when it comes to bidding, is to try to win the bid. Try to win the bid, right? Very good life notes. Bid is a competitive process, and an estimate is a form of a bid. Yes, absolutely. When you're bidding against multiple other potential contractors, people that want the job, right? And you have to look. I mean, you have to have your ducks in order, in a row, I should say. And that's why relationship skills are very important when it comes to bidding. All right. Cha Grill. She's like, contractor talk. Not really. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, guys, whoever catches this on the replay, yeah, this is all about what it takes to be a contractor, different requirements. It varies from state to state. And yeah, it can be a very competitive process. I mean, especially with the cost of goods today, right? The cost of goods today. So yeah, I guess you got to be creative today, especially when it comes to getting jobs. Okay. So yeah, so like I said, the bidding process is a big part of the of being a contractor, knowing how to negotiate, knowing how to price the job correctly, having accurate pricing, having accurate estimate costs. All of that's very important. So when you submit your final bid, your final proposal to that customer, whoever it is, they'll look at you and say, okay, I like this guy right here. That guy over there, he's trying to shaft me. I'm gonna go with this guy right here. So don't go out there and try to shaft people, guys. Okay, it's not gonna work out in your favor. And I'm sure in the world of contracting, word gets around where if somebody's a shisty contractor and they're overpricing the work, word gets around and you may not even get work. Okay, so yeah. All right, let's talk about let's talk about the requirements. Okay, I'm gonna go down a list of states. Okay, a list of states, and we're gonna find out what are the requirements from pretty much all 50 states. It's not gonna take that long, but I found it very interesting, and somebody watching may get some value from this. Whatever state you're in, I'm gonna read what are the requirements to be a contractor. Okay, in whatever state you're in. Let's see here. Let me go to my list. All right. So, Alabama, to become a general contractor in the state of Alabama, you got to pass a trade exam. Okay, and you also have to have proof of general liability. Okay, that's the state of Alabama. And if you have documentation of your work experience, a lot of states require a few years of work experience in the construction industry or related fields, right? The building industries as well. Okay, so that's the state of Alabama. You got to pass a trade exam there, and you have to have general liability, proof of general liability. State of Alaska. How many people out there know that Alaska is actually part of the 50 states? I'm just testing your geography here. All right, give me a thumbs up if Alaska is a part of 50 states. Well, it is. And in the state of Alaska, you have three different categories of licensing to become a contractor. You have a general contractor, a residential contractor, and a general contractor without a residential contractor endorsement. And you also have a general contractor handyman. So Alaska has four different categories you can be a contractor in. Okay. Arizona. Let's see what Arizona's talking about here. Okay, so you have two types of contractors in Arizona. You have the general residential contractors and the general commercial contractor licenses. Okay, and let's see what else here. You need to pass a trade exam, just like in Alabama. You got to pass a trade exam, and you got to show proof of a bond. Okay, and you also have to have 4 years of experience. You have to show proof of that you've worked in the construction field for 4 years. So Arizona's not playing around. Arizona's definitely not playing around, guys. Arkansas. What does Arkansas require when it comes to doing work, contractor work in Arkansas? Let's see here. Arkansas. You can have a restricted commercial license. You can have a commercial license, a residential remodeler limited license, a residential remodeler unlimited license, and the residential builder's license. Hey, that's, man, Arkansas is pretty granular when it comes to requirements to be a, hey, Spooky Spark, how you doing? Glad you showed up. Thanks for supporting. Yeah, I'm just trying to give you guys some information on contractors and some of the requirements, information about the bidding process, how that works, and what it entails. And so if some of you guys are interested in becoming a contractor, just know whatever state you're in, you can hopefully this information helps you. Okay, so let's see what else. We're talking about Arkansas. So I listed all those different licenses that they require. I mean that you can whatever one you choose, whatever suits you or fits you. And you also have to provide proof of workers' compensation insurance and a financial statement. Okay. Sometimes you have to provide a proof of a bond. And guess what, guys? You may also have to pass a business and law exam. Okay. So yeah, as I was doing the research on this, some of these states require you to pass a law exam. What is it in construction law or contracting law? I don't know, but it's it's no walk in the park for some of these requirements. I'm gonna tell you, California, you have two types of contractor licenses that are issued by the state of California. Okay, these are the general engineering contractor license and the general building contractor license. Okay, requirements include 4 full years of experience in the particular classification you're seeking licensing for. Okay, so if you're trying to be a licensed electrician or a licensed electrical contractor, or 4 years, guys, 4 years is a requirement. Passing a business and law exam. There you go. There goes that law exam again, and trade exam, and showing proof of a bond. So California wants it all. They're not playing around. Well, we got a little break here with Colorado. Colorado, there are no license requirements at the state level. Okay. Perry Good Life notes. She said maybe building codes. Yeah, that could be part of the trade exam when it comes to building codes and stuff like that. In my research, I didn't see anything that specifically stated you have to know building codes. I'm assuming that's part of the trade exam, I would say, but I'm not sure myself. Let's see here. Paragraph Life notes business and law includes ethics. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, ethics is big when it comes to contracting. How many horror stories have you guys heard about contractors running off of people's money and not finishing the job? So I'm sure ethics is a big part of that. So yeah, we got a break here with Colorado. Colorado, there are no license requirements, like I said, at the state level. However, local licenses requirements may exist. Okay, so it depends on what jurisdiction you're in that state. But no, at the state level, you don't need a contractor's license. But you want to check. You want to check with the appropriate agencies before you just hop out there and start doing work on people's homes and businesses. Okay, you always want to do your due diligence. You don't want to get caught with your pants down. Connecticut, home improvement contractors will need to register with the state's Department of Consumer Protection, and there's no state licensing laws there in Connecticut. Wow, Connecticut, you get another break there, right? Okay, so if you're working on residential properties, you do need to register with the State Department of Consumer Protection. All right, so they are trying to protect you on some level, right? Protect the customer. All right, Florida. What's Florida talking about? The state of Florida's Department of Business and Professional Regulation issues contractor licensing. The licenses are classified, under general building and residential contractors. 4 years of experience and proof of financial stability is to be shown. I find that very interesting, right? Proof of financial stability. In other words, if you can't handle your money, how are you going to handle someone else's money when they give it to you to work on a project, right? and how do they? Maybe Paragraph Life Notes can chime in on that. How would a regulating agency determine proof of financial stability? Would you have to turn in your pay stubs or or anything like that? So I thought that was pretty interesting. How would they actually prove that? I guess you got to turn in something, some kind of financial history, bank statements. I don't know. All right, Georgia. What does Georgia need if you're going to move to Georgia and you want to be a contractor? Georgia, you have to have 4 years of work experience in construction. Okay, that's what it's saying. A 4-year university or college course in a construction-related field with 1 year experience. You must also have present all the college level accredited courses covering the 4 years. Okay, so Georgia's big on education when it comes to that, right? You got to go to some kind of trade school. You got to go to some school. You got to have experience out there in the field. As you can tell, every state's different, which I find quite interesting. Oh, Hawaii. All right. What is Hawaii talking about? Hawaii. Um, let's see here. So Hawaii has two categories: general building contractors and general engineering contractors. Uh, Once again, Hawaii is big on law. You gotta pass a series of law exams, um, also business and trade exams as well. And I'm sure before you take these exams, you have to you probably you probably would get some kind of material to study. Very good life notes, financial reports, and credit background reports. They often will have to qualify for a bond with financials as well. Ah, very interesting. Good tip, Perigo Life Notes. Yeah, I didn't think of credit reports, right? They're going to look at your credit, man. How'd your credit? And if your credit's in the tank, that may exclude you from getting licensed in these states. Or you may want to run to a state that there's no licensing required, at least at the state level, right? Um, okay, so as we saw here, Hawaii, you got to pass all these law exams, like going to school again, right? Law, business, and trade exams, okay? And you also have to have proof of liability insurance and workers' compensation insurance in Hawaii as well. So they want to make sure that the workers are covered. Not that they don't want you to do the customer wrong, but they also don't want you to do your subcontractors wrong either. Okay. All right, Idaho. What is Idaho? Anybody ever been to Idaho? Hey, Alejandro, how you doing, man? I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hope this helps. I hope this helps. By the way, once again, guys, I'm gonna paste a link right now in the chat. I want you guys to go there and sign up and opt in, okay? Because I want to keep a relationship with all you guys outside of YouTube, and I'm coming out with a newsletter with more valuable information when it comes to the trades, DIY tools, all that good stuff, guys. So I'm gonna paste it again, and you guys just go ahead and opt in and hit that like button if you like this information. Okay, there you go. There it is again, guys. Hold on a second. Let me put it up there again. All right. Okay, let's see here. Idaho. Anybody ever been to Idaho? I've heard a lot about Idaho, but I haven't necessarily been there yet. What does Idaho require? Doesn't look like much. Registration within the state of Idaho's construction board is required. Okay, so you just got to register. General contractors there, they don't need to be licensed. I guess you got to be just register there, right? All right, Idaho. Got a break with Idaho. How many of you guys want to move to Idaho? Put a thumbs up in the chat. All right, state of Illinois. As you can tell, guys, this is in alphabetical order, so I'm just kind of going down the list here. The state of Illinois, local licensing may apply, okay, but no state licensing. Okay, there was another state we mentioned that there's no state licenses required, but depending on the local area that you're in, you may need to register. You may need to have your contractor's license there locally. Hey, Alejandro, I appreciate you. Thank you very much, man. Thanks for coming on in. Like I said, hopefully this information helps. Tell me where you guys from. What state you're in? Tell me what state you're in, because I'm going down the list of states right now, and I know I'm gonna eventually hit one of the states you guys in. I'm in California, so man, it's rough out here. California requires so much. All right, state of Indiana. Contractor licensing in the state of Indiana is done at the local level, guys, not at the state level. Okay. So you just got to, wherever you're at, you got to find out what applies to you locally in that area, but you don't have to worry about state licensing or anything like that in the state of Indiana. Okay. Iowa says Iowa contractors earning at least $2,000 are to register with the state Division of Labor. State licensing for contractors does not apply. There you go. Another one where you don't have to worry about state licensing. But if you earn at least $2,000, you do have to register. Okay, you got to register with the state's Division of Labor. Kansas. What's Kansas talking about? Alejandro said he's from the Chi. We need a license for the city of Chicago. What's going on with that? Alejandro, give us the heads up on what's happening with contractor licensing in Chicago. I haven't. I don't even think I. Well, I did talk about Illinois. Let's go back to Illinois. Yeah, no state licensing for Illinois. Yeah. Okay. Locally though. All right. Let's see here. California. Paragraph Life Notes. Yeah, California is not playing. Let's see. What is California saying again? So California got two types of licenses. You got general engineering contractor license, and you got the general building contractor license. Okay. Paragraph Life Notes, you in California, huh? But something tells me you don't want to be a contractor, so you don't have to worry about all that. All right, Kentucky. All contractor licenses is issued at the local level in the state of Kentucky. Okay, it says you'll need to clear with your local authorities before commencing on a project. So once again, no state licensing, but local, right? Locally, you got to make sure that you're cleared and to be able to work in the local jurisdictions there. Louisiana. All right, Louisiana has two types: residential and commercial, which is pretty much most of them. And once again, you got to find out what applies. It doesn't mention anything about state licensing for Louisiana, but something tells me that they would have mentioned that. So it's probably just local, right? You just got to make sure that you're. But you do have to register, I think, with the Louisiana Licensing Board for Contractors. Okay, so they do have that agency there. The state of Maine. What is Maine talking about? Okay, Maine is another one where you don't have any state licensing requirements, but you have to provide a written contract to your customers. Okay, and you also may have other local licensing laws that you may have to abide by as well. So that written contract in there for Maine, guys. Maine wants you to put it in writing. You should be putting it in writing anyway. Maryland. Okay, what is Maryland? Let's see here. Wow. Jobs such as new home construction won't be needing a state license. All right. Instead, you would need to register with the Home Builder Registration Unit, which is under the Office of the Attorney General. As a general contractor, you have to register at the city or county level. Okay, so yeah, they do require some stuff. All right, Alejandro, what's Alejandro? City of Chicago, general contractor license is required to perform most types of building construction, alteration, repair, and demolition work within the city of Chicago. Okay, and that well, yeah, that's the city of Chicago, right? That's more of a local licensing, and versus state licensing. Illinois, well, I'm reading the list. I don't know how updated this list is, but according to what I looked at, no state licensing. So that does make sense there. City of Chicago's local jurisdiction, and you will need licensing for that. So, by the way, Alejandro, kind of curious, what kind of trade do you do? Are you just a general contractor, or you have what's your particular trade skill? Let us know in the chat, Alejandro. Okay, so Massachusetts, the Office of Public Safety and Inspections issues a contractor supervisor license. Okay, and then you also have to have 3 years of experience in said field. Okay, Michigan, guys. Anybody out there from Michigan? General contractors need a residential builder's license or maintenance and alterations contractor's license. It's funny you mentioned that. I just saw the word alterations here in Michigan's requirement, and you just mentioned that, Alejandro. To get any of these, you'll have to complete a 60-hour pre-licensure course. This is followed by a test you must pass. Okay, so Michigan is on the testing tip as well, right? All right, Alejandro. So there are exceptions for roofing and plumbing licenses, which require state permits. Okay. See, Alejandro just schooled us on that. So there are exceptions, Alejandro said, for roofing and plumbing licenses, right? Each city also has a different licensing fee. Got to get that money. Got to get that money in the coffers. Alejandro, asphalt foreman for the city of Chicago. Alejandro, that's interesting because back, I'll say in the early '90s, I used to do asphalt work, man, in the city of Opelika down there in Miami. It's not Miami, but it's a city inside that area. And I used to do a lot of asphalt work for the city of Opelika there, and I used to drive the steamrollers around and all that good stuff, shovel the hot asphalt, you know. So I know what it is. But you're the foreman, man. I wasn't a foreman. I was just a laborer. So Alejandro, he's probably just standing around telling other guys what to do, right? I got you. All right. Okay. So we talked about Michigan and all the tests you got to take with them, 60-hour pre-licensure course and all this other stuff. Minnesota, that's the next on the list. What does Minnesota require? I went to Minnesota a couple times in the wintertime, and I'd hate to be a general contractor in the wintertime in Minnesota. Wow, that ice cut like a knife, that wind, As a residential remodeler, you'll require a residential building contractor license issued by the Department of Labor and Industry. However, you must show proof of workers' compensation insurance and liability. You must also pass a law and trade exam. Okay, so there go those exams again. Okay, Mississippi. What does Mississippi require? Well, projects worth more than $50,000 or $50,000 will require a state license. Other requirements include passing a trade and law exam, and proof of general liability insurance must also be tendered by you. Okay. Missouri, no license requirements. You get a break with Missouri, man. Check it out, Missouri. Wonder why. However, some licensing requirements may apply at the local level. And as Alejandro just pointed out to us, there are exceptions. So don't, I know I'm going down a list here of the different states and their requirements, but don't take my word for it. Do your own due diligence because as Alejandro showed us, once again, there are exceptions when it comes to certain things. Okay, so you want to make sure. Montana, licensing requirements do not apply. While this is the case, you'll have to register with the Department of Labor and Industry if you have employees. Okay, so you got to register. That's what they require. No licensing requirements, just like the state of Missouri. So Montana and Missouri, man. Okay, no licenses. Nebraska, once again, no licenses with Nebraska as well. However, you still have to register with the Department of Labor there. They want you on file. They want you on file at least. Okay. State of Nevada. Nevada. Let's see what's going on with Nevada. You have to have 4 years experience. You have to pass a trade, business, and law exam, and you also have to have proof of insurance. You have to have a bond, and you have to have workers' compensation. So you can't be playing around in Nevada. Okay. You can't be playing around over there. New Hampshire. Hey, check it out. No state licensing requirements for contractors. Nevertheless, you still need to check for local licensing requirements. Okay, so just because it says no state licensing requirement, you still have to check the local jurisdiction so you won't get caught up. New Jersey. Hey, here's another one. New Jersey state licensing does not apply. Commercial contractors will be licensed at the city or county level. Okay, that's New Jersey. New Mexico. Don't worry, guys. We got just a few more left. I want to give you guys the whole list, a comprehensive list. I'm halfway through, and but at least you can say, hey, look, we covered all the states. We covered the whole country. Okay. New Mexico Department of Regulation and Licensing issues licensing to contracts. Requirements include passing a trade, law, and business exam. This trade, law, and business exam, I'm very curious to what it entails, and what's it about. Perigil Life Notes mentioned, if it's about law, it definitely involves ethics. But the trade and business exams, I'm kind of curious myself as to what that entails. New York, what does New York require? Local governments within the state have licensing requirements. However, this is not applicable at the state level. Okay, so once again, New York is not there's no state requirements there. North Carolina, let's see, you got to pass an exam to get a license, and there are different categories of exams. Okay, that you gotta depends on. I guess depends on what particular field you're going as of contracting that you're wanting to get licensed in. So they got multiple categories there for North Carolina. North Dakota, construction licenses are classified based on the scope of work covered. Very interesting. Proof of insurance is one of the basic requirements. The scope of work covered. Well, so I guess if you're going to do a small job versus a big job, then they have different classifications for that. That'll be interesting to find out what that's about. Ohio, the state of Ohio, general contractors require no licensing at the state level. In the state of Ohio, this may not be the case at the local level. Yeah, we know all about that already. Oklahoma, there's no requirement for a state license. Okay. Once again, local level. Always check the local level. Oregon's types of construction licenses include residential, commercial licenses, dual residential and commercial licenses. Okay, so they have a board. They have an agency that issues the licenses called the Oregon Construction Contractors Board. Requirements include a pre-licensing training followed by a test. Others include proof of liability and workers' compensation insurance. Okay, Pennsylvania. Wow, I used to drive a lot through Pennsylvania, and they were always working on the roads. I mean, it's like I've been a trucker for a while, so I've been all over the country, back and forth, east to west coast, and I used to take the 80 out to from California to New Hampshire, delivering refrigerated goods. And I used to pass through Pennsylvania all the time, and man, they were working on the roads all the time, get stuck in traffic there. But this is what it's telling me. There's no contractor licensing provisions at the state level for contracts worth more than $5,000. You got to register with the Attorney General's office. That's the first I've seen when it comes mentioned Attorney General's office when it comes to this. Rhode Island, no licensing requirement apply. You got to register with the board there, Contractors Registration Board. You got to complete 5 hours of pre-licensed education plus proof of liability insurance. All right. We're whittling down the list, guys. Whittling down the list here. South Carolina Department of Labor awards construction licenses. All right. So that's the agency that awards it. Your license, you got to have 2 years of experience within the past 5 years, as well as passing a law, trade, and business exam. Okay. South Dakota does not require licensing, but of course, at the local level, you got to check on that to make sure. Tennessee contractor requirements for the state of Tennessee, you got to pass this law, business, and trade exams. Keeps popping up, right? Additional requirements include proof of experience. I don't know, it doesn't say how much experience, a financial statement. So that's going back to the whole financial stability thing, right? Credit reports and all that. So Tennessee wants to know if you're able to handle your money. So before they give you a license. State of Texas. Texas has no licensing requirements for contractors. However, once again, local jurisdictions you want to check into because they may require it. Utah. Let's see here. What does Utah want? You got to have a proof of financial responsibility and general liability and workers' comp. You got to have that, and you have to have 2 years experience. All right. How do you interesting question here. How do you prove that you have 2 years experience? I guess you got to have paperwork saying that you did a job. You got to have references or something. Somebody can make, people can make stuff up, Vermont does not need a contractor license. However, once again, local level, Virginia, Let's see what Virginia's talking about. They got 3 types of licenses in Virginia, guys. They got Class A, B, and C, and all of them require a pre-licensed education and completing a pre-licensed education. So I guess they give you some form of something to study, right? And then you take the tests. You got to pass exam. So yeah, just pretty much got to take a test with Virginia. Washington, there are no state license requirements, guys. We got three more, okay? 3 more and I'm done. However, you must register with the state of Washington Department of Labor and Industries. You must also pass an exam in addition to showing proof of a surety bond, okay, to the tune of $12,000 plus general liability insurance. State of Washington. Wow. They want to vet their contractors, right? West Virginia. Okay. What's West Virginia talking about? They'll issue a general contractor license, and they have different classifications. All right. You got to pass a law, trade, and business exam. And we've seen that. So we've seen in a whole bunch of states that require that. Okay. And I'm sure that you can get the materials to study for that. And maybe I'll, in a future live or a future video, we'll talk about, get more in depth into what that is, law, trade, and business exam. Why? Because I want you guys to level up, guys. You can be a contractor. You can be supervising subcontractors. If you're doing it already, you already know what I'm talking about. You can up your game. You can start your own firm, and not just be a laborer. Okay. Let's see here. So we talk about West Virginia. You got to have workers' comp, and they mentioned a wage bond. A wage bond. Okay. Is it the same as a surety bond? I don't know, but that's what West Virginia requires. Wisconsin. All right, so you got to have you got to complete a 12-hour educational course and pass a test, and you also have that proof of insurance with Wisconsin. Wyoming. The last one, guys, Wyoming. You don't need a general contractor license to work in the state of Wyoming. Okay. Hey, it doesn't even mention anything about local either. However, you'll have to check with your city or county for further clarification. So yeah, well, there you go. So that's it, guys. That's all 50 states. I think I went through all 50 states, the requirements to be a contractor, and I hope that gave you some idea of what the requirements are. I hope we talked about the bidding process, what that requires. That's all that is a customer looking over the proposals that you sent in to get the job. Okay. And you have to have your materials costs. You have to have all that stuff together. Let me see if I can give you some more. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Hold on a second. Yeah. So you just have to have your ducks in a row when you're bidding for contracts. You're bidding for projects, okay? And you wanna try to bid at the lowest, right? Because you got a lot of guys competing. You don't necessarily. I don't want to call it lowballing, but you definitely have to. You got to compete. I mean, and when it comes to competition to get a job, you may not. If your costs are up there, you kind of pricing yourself out of the game. Okay, so you want to make sure you got all your costs and everything, materials, labor, and you want to add your profit in there and make sure your profit is reasonable, so that when you present your proposal as a bid to the customer, okay, because they're going to be looking at all kinds of different bids, and you want to look at them. You want them to look at it and say, okay, that's decent, that's reasonable, right? And it's about relationships as well. If you can be forming relationships in your community as a contractor, where some people your bid may be a little higher than the next guy, but because you've nurtured relationships in your community, that customer may just call you anyway and say, hey, I'm gonna pay him anyway, I'm gonna pay him extra. So yeah, all that's involved when it comes to being a good contractor, being honest, not trying to shaft people, having your licenses and everything, so to assure the customer, whether it's residential or commercial customer, that you're coming there prepared and with the credentials in order for you to get that job. So, guys, I hope this helped. Thanks for coming on the live. Once again, I want to nurture relationships outside of YouTube, and I'm gonna put this link in the chat again. Go ahead and click that link, and go ahead and opt in so I can add more value to you guys outside of YouTube. Okay, there it is right there. And appreciate each and every one of you coming in here, supporting the channel, hopefully learning something from me, because I learn too. You know, I don't know everything, and I'm all about giving you guys. Hey, Purdy Doo, you just got here. Yeah, Purdy Doo. Hopefully you see the replay, man. Glad you popped in though. Appreciate you. Okay, and go ahead and click that link and opt in, and I'm going to be putting out a newsletter with more information, more valuable information on what we talk about here. Calibrate Tools is all about giving you what you need in terms of tools, in terms of DIY, and all, and trade. What's happening in trades? If you're a tradesman, okay. So, hey guys, appreciate you, love you, take care of yourself, be safe out there, and I'll see ya. Yeah, Purdy Doo, hit that rewind button, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Have a good one, okay.